Welcome back. We made a painting of the temple, but the file is too big. We have two choices: convert it to Smart Object and then file it as PNG, or just crop it. For this temple, I want to show you the crop technique. First, we shift select the layers and Ctrl G to group them and name it Temple Ready. We click Ctrl C and we make a tight crop of the temple by clicking left and just drag the crop around it as tight as you can. For me, it's tight enough. Now we can file it as a Photoshop file. We click on File, Save As, but we get the warning, crop the image before saving, and we say yes. Give it a name, Temple Crop, all set. We save it one more time, but now as a PNG file. And finally we can place the temple next to the river. We're back in the big empty field, and there is the bow of the river. We drag the PNG file into the scene and make it smaller by clicking on the corner and choose the size you like. Let's check the composition with the rule of thirds. We can drag the temple a bit more down, and then the heart of the temple is exactly on the cross of the lines, which is perfect for the comp. Now let's decorate the scene with some Japanese flowers. I found a Japanese blossom on Pixabay, and you can do the same for a free download. And I think this is the perfect size. Let's give the layer a name, Japanese blossom. What else? And first we have to right-click on the layer and rasterize. To get rid of the background, we can use the Magic Wand tool, but in this case I like to work with the eraser because I want to work more precise. We erase the necessary background as much as we can, and later we will come back to work on the blossom, so don't mind the hard cuts. I know it looks ugly for now, but it will look fantastic when we finish this little project. Cut away what we don't need, and then we will start painting flowers and leaves to make it all complete. From here I go fast forward because you got the idea by now. Before we go on, we have to work at the ground or soil first. After that, we will come back to finish the blossom. We make a new layer and name it Ground Temple because we're gonna dig in that temple. It stands a bit too much on the surface, and we don't want that. I must say, this time I didn't use the library too much because in this case of painting mud and sand, I work more on my color feeling. And by the way, we don't use too much colors. On the average, it's all ochre tones. We may presume that the river is overflowing in spring of all the melting water coming from the mountains. So that's why that wall is cracked and rotten and all this mud and sand is flowing around these old walls. So fantasize when you paint this and watch the technique. I change pressure all the time and also the size of the brush. By the way, don't mind the river. We're gonna work on that later. Yes, it's starting to look like mud. And at the borders of the river, it might be a bit darker as everything is wet over there. I must say the crown brush is absolutely a fantastic tool for this job. And remember, only use horizontal movements as this surface is horizontal, so please don't make the mistake to go up and down. And yes, let's put up the navigator again as we are busy in a small corner of the painting. Take a look on it to have an overview of your painting and it will keep you in balance. At the right side of the temple and the tree of course, we need more dark mud and sand as a kind of shadow. If you think you've done enough mud and sand, we can work at the other side of the river and make it ready for the real water stream, which will follow when we're ready with a tree. Good, enough mud and sand. Back to the flowers and leaves, we make a new layer and name it Leaves and Flowers. We will take this brush, leaves number 2. Don't worry, I will add them to the course. And then we start clicking the leaves in and we use a dark green color to start with. The leaves of this brush look the most to the leaves of the tree, but play with the pressure with the color. And how do you do that? Very simple. I use the eyedropper, pick some of this lighter green color, and then start dipping in the leaves. And it looks pretty natural. The trick with using photographs is that we have to integrate the edges of the leaves and flowers into the picture. It's nice to know a bit about this technique. If you master this, you can do it with other photos too. The best we can do is all the time making changes with pressure and color, like I said before. Let's put this middle tone green to the swatches and we name it Leaf middle tone. Uh-oh, I made a spelling mistake, sorry. Of course, leaf is with an F, but you'll understand, yeah. That's what you get with Dutchmen, they cannot spell. By the way, on the university in Holland I had a professor teaching me English and he said, Michael, English is the most difficult language in the world. And after all, yes, he was right, but I do my best to improve. And don't forget to use the navigator for the overall balance in your painting. For now, we let the blossom grow. Like I told you, the right part of the temple will be covered with leaves and flowers. Follow your own idea, how big or small you want to make it. I'm just having fun here decorating this tree. I got no clue what kind of tree it is. I call it Japanese blossom, that's how I found it on FreePix or Pixabay. But I must say I am the worst gardener in the world. If I clean up my garden, my sweet wife Else is keeping an eye on me that I don't remove the flowers instead of the weeds. Anyway, in the shadow part we can add more dark leaves. And let's take a look from a distance. It's all looking good, but it needs some more flowers. I will slow down a bit to show you how it really works. I use the eyedropper for the flower color, and with the same leaf brush we can put some flowers in between the leaves. And yes, I know it's cheating, but it's looking good. We can even make a swatch for the library. The library is handy if you have to stop with your painting for a while, a day or two or more, whatever. And if you don't remember the color anymore, you always can find it back in your library. Well, the tree grew a bit taller than I thought it would be, but it's looking good for now. We always can change the size afterwards when we complete the final composition. Let's make a new layer. And we name it Ground Under Flowers because we need a bit more dark ground as a kind of shadow. And that's easy, you choose a dark ground color and the famous ground brush and you start shaking the brush again. A little bit darker maybe here. And I always like to play with opacity and flow, but the result always depends how strong you push the pen. I would say the brush, but of course it's the pen. For now I think he's complete. Let's shift select the layers of this tree, click Ctrl G and we have a new group and we name it Japanese Blossom. If you have another name, it's okay with me too. During the making of this tree I suddenly had a cool idea. Yes, when I'm busy, I'm with my head in the clouds always and getting all kinds of ideas. And I just had the idea to fill in that gap on the right because it's too big. So maybe we can place some rock there to complete the composition. But we will do this in the next lesson. See you there.